The Orlando Magic are up next. The Orlando Magic last year won 41 games and were just absolutely decimated by injuries throughout the year. Paulo Banchero plays 46 games, Franz Wagner 60 games, Jalen Suggs 35 games. Mo Wagner tore his ACL. He only played 30 games last year. They go out, they get healthier first and foremost. They trade for Desmond Bane, a guy who generally just plays by and large is the other key thing with him. Guys who played the most minutes last year on the Orlando Magic. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, Wendell Carter Jr., Tristan Da Silva.
Rookie.
And then you get to Paulo at 6, Goga Batadze at 7, Cole Anthony at 8. And this team still won 41 games last year.
They got 1,500 minutes of Caleb Houston and Jet Howard, and we're starting, with all due respect, one of my favorite pregame shooting routines to watch. They started Corey Joseph down the stretch and into the playoffs last year. With all due respect to Corey Joseph.
This is a team that brought in, obviously, Bane, as I mentioned, but also Tyus Jones to man the backup point guard. They draft Jace Richardson. They draft Noah Penda. You know, they have Orlando Robinson and Jamal Cain, both of whom are like older two-way guys that, you know, might be able to steal minutes here and there if necessary depth-wise, but I think the hope is that they won't have to. Their total this year is 50.5. And guys, I got to tell you, we're cranking it up. We're going over. I'm going over on this, and I feel pretty good about an over on the Orlando Magic here this year.
So I'm over as well. Real quick, the data here says that the third ranked team in the Eastern Conference would win an average of 51.3 games. Only once in the last 4 years has the third ranked team not won at least 50. And actually only once in the last 4 years has the fourth place team not won 50 games. Has a high of 54, a low of 49 in the third spot. I like this Orlando team. I think they're going to be better. You have to think at some point they get healthier and have a healthy season. This was a fairly easy over for me as well, and was the third team, as I've referenced multiple times now, that I think gets above 50 wins of this trio.
Andrew.
I'm also going over. Last year's a bit of a wash because of how many injuries they sustained, so I had to use 2 years ago as my data points. This team 2 years ago finished third in defense and 22nd in offense, 30th over the last 2 seasons in 3-pointers made per game and 3-point percentage. I expect both of those numbers to be better this season. And if you're conceding a little bit on the defensive end, say they go from 3rd to 5th and they go from 22nd to 16th, how is that not better than the 3 more wins they need to hit their over from 2 years ago when they won 47 games? So I do think the number is like 50 or 51. They solidly a 3 or 4 seed, but that plus potentially another Paolo leap into second team All NBA, where he's gone up every year in points, rebounds, free throw attempts, and effective field goal percentage. And now he's playing with one of the best floor spacers in the league. I went over on the Orlando Magic.
I'm absolutely going over on the Orlando Magic, and I think that they have a real shot to be like the 2 seed in the East this year. That wouldn't blow my mind if they end up even passing the Knicks, if only because it's a totally different coaching staff this year with the Knicks. I think all of these teams win 50 games. I think Orlando has like a real chance to get up around that like 55 win mark. Honestly, they're just very deep and very skilled, and they have a real, infrastructure of defense. They have an identity at the end of the day. Now, like, am I a little bit worried about Jalen Suggs like immediately coming back? Yeah, like I think Jalen Suggs is really important to that defensive identity. But they did go out and they got Tyus Jones to be able to run second units and to be able to step into the starting lineup in case Jalen Suggs needs a little bit more time to be able to come back. And there just aren't many better backup point guards in the league than Tyus Jones. And you throw Tyus Jones with Desmond Bane, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and then whatever you want to do at the big position, be it Wendell Carter, who's a really good defender who can occasionally step out and shoot, but that hasn't really come along in the way we hoped. Also, Goga Batadze, who is a fantastic defender on the interior, and Jonathan Isaac, who is going to have to be, minute managed as he always is at this point in his career. But again, just a fantastic defensive basketball player when he's out on the court. I think there's just a lot of reason to buy into this.
Suggs also only has to be the fourth option on offense, Sam. Like he's going to be able to keep a lot of energy and for the defensive end to come back and be that level of player, which is another part of the Bane trade where, like, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but like those other three guys are going to take the bulk of the offensive load, and he's never going to have to be out there doing it by himself. Like there's always one of Paolo, Franz, or Bane on the floor with him. So I think he's going to have a real chance to be his best possible version on the defensive end because of the lack of offensive energy they will need from him night in and night out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this team's just going to be awesome. Like they couldn't have gotten more snake bitten by injury last year, and we're still sitting here at 41 wins somehow, and they made the playoffs. Again, I think big leap from Paulo. We talked about him on the Breakout Players episode we did last week. I think huge season from Paulo. I think the world of Franz Wagner, as I think most of the longtime listeners of the show know. I think he's going to be an all-NBA, all-star kind of guy at some point. Yeah, I mean, this is just a big-time team to me. I love the fact, though, that most importantly, they come into the season with like a real identity and a real infrastructure to where you don't have to fix things. Desmond Bane should be purely additive, in my opinion, to what they already do, as opposed to like somebody who comes in and demands the ball and like you have to figure out how to make it work and share the ball and everything. I kind of think that Bane's just going to be able to, especially if Suggs is out early on, Bane's just going to be able to really create here and there and play on the ball a little bit along with Tyus. And then you have Paulo, who's going to be able to play on the ball as well. You're going to be able to run all sorts of creative actions with Paulo and Bane and Franz and Bane and everything. Like Bane should be screening a lot as they continue to like invert different actions and structures to me. I hope that they have a creative enough offensive mind on the bench to be able to figure all this out. But I think that it's not that hard to figure out now that they have like a real spacing weapon in Bane. I am like truly excited about the Orlando Magic this year. They, again, one of the teams I'm most looking forward to watching just absolutely this year.
Also not a sieve on defense. Like he's going to be fine on that end of the floor guarding I guess maybe you could when it is Jones, like there can be a few questions there. But he's going to be fine. Additive is a great word for him.